All right, after a couple weeks of non-traditional photos here in Weekly 50, we're back to something a little more normal, a little more relatable. This is a classic photo of an Indian paintbrush flower. I forget the scientific name, but you see these things all over in Oklahoma in the springtime. Usually they pop up about the first 2 weeks of May. And this was in my neighbor's yard. He has like a 2-acre yard, and there's a chunk that he just lets grow wild each spring. And then he mows it down later in the year. And he does it because it fills it up with these types of flowers. And it rained one evening. So the next morning, because it had rained, I had specifically planned on going over to his yard to get a photo just like this. When the ground is covered in dewdrops and you got that glistening sheen over everything because of the rain. And I knew I could find a flower like the one you see here. I knew I could find one because his yard was full of them. And my goal was to take a picture of the flower backlit with the dewdrops showing up in the frame. And that's exactly what I was able to capture. I've taken a couple similar photos, one a couple years ago with a butterfly with my plain old 50mm lens. It worked fine. With this one, I had my macro lens, and I was able to make distance to subject not an issue. Normally it is. I have to think about how close I am to the subject because with a normal lens, there's a minimum focusing distance that's not super close. But with a macro lens, you can get really close most of the time. So I knew I wouldn't have that constraint, and yet I actually did stay kind of far away from this flower. I didn't need to get up close, but it was nice that I could get up close if I wanted to. For me, it's the details that do it on this photo. It's the little, and the very bottom right-hand side, those football-shaped balls of light, which happen because of the way the light curves in the lens. Those, and then the kind of their counterpart on the top right-hand side, they're much larger. But those balls of light, the way they're shaped like that at the edge of the photo, the way you have these tiny little hairs on the edges of the leaves that are just lit up from the backlighting. And then the stark colors here. We got the reds, the greens, and then the rest of the scene's kind of yellow. Like, it just all comes together. This is what I had in mind the day before I took this photo, and the fact that I was able to go out the next morning and capture a picture that looked really similar to what I was aiming for. I don't know. It's kind of neat to revisit photos over time. Like, you take a photo and then you think, well, what did I do well? What did I not do well? And how can I improve that next time? And then go out the next time and be able to improve it and take a better photo. And each year I think I get a little more interesting results when I take pictures of these Indian paintbrush flowers. So I'm not saying this is the best one I've ever taken, but I feel like this is an improvement, and I'm going to continue trying to improve my compositions with these flowers as time goes by.